what you guys were going for and how long it took you to record and what's your process, and hey, let's just kick it, man.
That's a tiny ass freaking camera, dude.
It's like a GoPro. It's like a GoPro, yeah. Okay. It's actually a hunting camera.
Well, it's a hunting camera. What
The-
you hunting?
I think we actually got started in the recording third week of January, and it took us.
Yeah, it was.
We did doing everything ourselves. It was like one process after the other, and then having to upgrade equipment. So then would have to go back and do stuff over again because it didn't
Right.
sound the same, and just trying to get it consistent. I mean, that took us all the way up until now.
Then computer problems.
Yeah.
Had to remap things out.
Yeah, I know all about that, man. And with the way
we don't have a live stream right now.
the way recording is done now, everything's gone digital. Sometimes I wish the old analog days would come back and
Better bite your damn tongue.
I mean, certain things, it's so much easier and so much better, and you can do it a lot faster. And then
I recorded on
Yeah.
analog.
and then there's certain things that analog provides that digital cannot do.
Like the natural reverb.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of this genre, especially the doom genre, most of it's more atmospheric, and
Exactly.
we're not as much into like the real slow, funeral doom pretty much, which is 35 BPM, whack,
Yeah.
and then you wait forever for the next snare lick.
Right.
But
Yeah, it's basically music underneath poetry.
exactly.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite bands are like that. Funeral, they put out an album a few years ago, I think it was '07, called From These Wounds.
Mm-hmm.
That CD
Yeah.
will never ever leave rotation with me, ever.
Awesome. So when you guys got together, I mean, did you have an idea for what you guys were going to do, or did you just kind of piece it together? And
Actually, his idea was, man, we got to do some music together. Let's get together and man, let's do. I don't care. We can do deathcore. That's right up my alley, of course. I mean, I'm a core kid, I guess you'd call it. I love all that core influence stuff. I mean, I like all genres of metal. But we started getting together and just, as it just came out, it was just, that's what it was. I mean, you can tell there's a lot of core influence in there. A lot of like the down tone or the drop tune, like way down. Then some of the vocals. I mean, it just kind of came out as it was, and we just felt it. We just went with it.
Oh, really? What tune are you playing in? I'm playing in drop F.
Jesus.
We barely use drop tuning. We
Yeah.
play in standard C.
It's just really low.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah, it's down there, but it's
But I mean, a
It's
lot of times, when you get together to record an album and you've got an idea of where you want to go, a lot of times it doesn't work out for whatever reason. You got to make up stuff on the fly, and you got to adjust, and you got to keep going. So I mean, a lot of times, I've talked to several people, and they said, we had an idea for how the record was going to go, and then by the end of it, it was completely different.
Oh yeah, that's kind of what we did.
Yeah, well, I mean, once we got started, the whole point of it was just don't second guess it.
Yeah.
Just
Let it go.
let it go and see what comes. And
It's
what
succeeded
came
so
out.
far. It's been so well for us so far.
Now, you know what's crazy? Me and this guy here have history.
I know. I told you.
Actually, Spanish, not history.
Yeah, because I mean, these guys showed up at the store, and he's like, "Hey, man, what kind of music do you listen to?" I listen to everything. What's your main rock and metal? He's like, "Dude, you need to check out my band." I was like, "You got a band?" He's like, "Yeah, man, we're recording our EP." I was like, "You stepped into the right place tonight." So yeah, and we got to chatting. He was talking about. He's like, Pharaoh. I was like, "That's my partner right there, of course."
Small world.
Who doesn't know me? If you don't know me, you need to crawl out from underneath the damn rock you've been living in.
he's a little young.
Come on,
It's
man.
okay.
He's a young man.
I've been out here and
But
that's
he and
Lansing.
I actually have connections as well that you don't even realize yet, because you know my little brother, Kyle Pritchett.
Oh man.
Yeah, we know KP.
Yeah, that's true. I do know KP.
I work with First Right Theft.
Oh, that's right. I know you look familiar.
See,
Yeah, we've had those guys in here not too long ago.
everybody knows me.
Small world.
They're in the studio now recording. Devin's got 8,000 songs he wants to record. He's got a lot of anger right now.
He does.
Yeah.
Devin's a really cool guy though.
Yeah, he
I've known
is.
Devin for a long time, back when I was with Jerry Lynn. Actually, I played a show with a band in Gadsden called Take Over Takedown. We went to Florence and played a show, and I had to improv a 7-song set list for a deathcore band that I had no idea any of their songs were.
Oh, wow.
As a metal vocalist.
Oh,
So I
wow.
like, and I had no idea what they were playing. But it worked.
Hey,
It was
hey.
pretty neat.
Hey, we know somebody that does that though, when he wants to too. Taylor. But, Geraldine, so you also know Mono,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
who is
Legendary
now
guitarist.
Andrew in them Dirty Roses, another good buddy
Yes.
of mine. So, see,
See, man, it's all family. That's what I've noticed. Is like it's just a big rock and roll family, and you know, you go to these shows and festivals, and you run into people that
It's
you've known for
reunion.
years. And it's like a family reunion. You just
Oh,
go
yeah.
there and hang out.
it was so funny, last year I took him to Rockville. First time he's gone. It was like my 5th, but I had missed the year prior. We walk into the press tent, and everybody's like, Pharaoh, where you been? And hugging my neck and everything. And he's like, you really do know everybody. But thankfully, we met some new friends down there, Brian and Shoeless Joe at Rock 98.9. Yes, he wears flip-flops year-round. But hey, you live in Jacksonville, Florida, I'd wear flip-flops year-round too.
Absolutely.
But met up with them, linked up with them, and now we're syndicated on Rock 98.9 in Jacksonville, Florida, as well as WQEE over in Noonan, Georgia. So,
Yeah, we were
shout out
listening
to
the night
those
you
guys.
was sick.
Yeah.
You had to leave out early and y'all were on the phone. Yeah, we
Oh
were
man,
listening.
that night was hell.
Yeah.
And I'm
You
sitting.
sounded rough.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, man, he
Dude.
made it this far, man. I was like,
Dude,
good
I
job.
got back home and I think it was like 101.9.
oh,
Wow.
God knows how long I'd had a fever. I'm in here in just aches and pains, and they're like, "Dude, go home." And I'm like, "No way, no way. This is my show, and I will finish my show." And then I got to, yeah, and I got to hour 2, and I'm like, "I'm dying. I gotta go. I can't do this anymore."
Oh man, too bad I ain't plugged in. I'm getting out.
Right.
No. Now that we're past that, the only reason why I kept trying to get him to go home is because I didn't want what he had.
We don't want the flu, man.
Yeah.
Had to disinfect everything in the room. The whole just emptied
4
about 4 bottles of
4
Lysol.
cans
Yeah.
of Lysol later.
what was that? Do you want this headset? No, I don't want your
Yeah,
headset.
I want that.
No, sir.
Let's see, alcohol, piranha,
Lysol.
bleach, and Lysol.
But yeah, man. I mean,
Anything survives that, the only thing that can survive that is cockroaches and Keith Richards.
I look at it. I mean, even now that we're talking about, I still feel bad for leaving. It's like, you know, if Ronnie James Dio can do a tour dying of cancer,
Lemmy?
you know,
That's
I
Dio,
have-
though. That's
I have,
different.
Lemmy also, you know, I was like, you know, I have no excuse for all this. Oh, I've got a cold, I gotta
Yes.
go home.
But Dio was pretty well compensated for those tours he was on.
That is true.
That's like Ozzy still.
Yeah,
working.
go ahead and go home, Bieber.
Right? Exactly.
Ouch.
Hey, we hold pull no punches here. He knows I'm gonna hit him in the gut with something, and he's gonna do right the same with me.
Absolutely.
We don't care.
I have no time to BS. You know?
Did you get music from them?
Yeah, I got a couple of songs. Did you guys bring the rest?
got
Because
the rest of
I
them.
didn't know what you wanted me to do.
You
I've
got it
got
on zip drive or?
I've got Creature. I didn't know if you guys wanted to lead off with that one or if you wanted to play something else. So I just kind of leave it up to you guys.
1 second, I'm going to send you the file.
All right.
I've got a file that's got all of the high-res waves.
But yeah, while we're doing that, we're going to get back into some music. We got Dirty Machine, Every Hour Kills, and Farewell to Fear coming up. But right now, here is Light the Torch. This is called Before the Storm. You're listening to the Nightstand.
That's a hot
That yes that you're hearing now, he's gonna be.
Oh yeah,
So, you gotta make a trip with me for that.
definitely.
I mean, it's just an Anderson, so.
Not too shabby. I'd definitely go for that.
When we play the next music break, I'll explain that to you. Hey, I got a little inside track with Mr. Howard Jones.
Have you got everything?
I got it pulled up.
All right.
We're sitting here with or Without You, and that's not with or without you. It is wither without you. So, making sure they get the name right.
Great name. by the
Apparently,
way. I know I've said it before, but
it
great
was a
name.
YouTube track. That's what everybody keeps pointing me to. They're like, you know, that's it. I was like, no, that is with or without
yeah.
you. And I was like, we're done.
We're way more clever than that.
Yeah.
Way more. Now, if you guys would, tell us a little bit about these two tracks we're gonna play, Lila and No Promises.
Lila was one of the first couple of tracks that we had. It was
First one we started writing.
yeah, it was one of the first ones we started writing. Now as for what it leans to and what it's about, pretty much everything we write is based on personal experience.
Right.
My previous marriage and being on the rocks and all of that, and
Just life in general.
yeah, and everything piling up.
Yeah.
So we just wanted it to be like a real experience. You know what I mean? Like everything, just without using
Yeah.
names.
But I mean, that's the great thing, and I've said it for years. And one thing, growing up, my dad always said, he's like, look, man, music is therapy, and if you trust it,
Agreed.
and you get into it, and you really get into it, and you really believe in it, it can help you.
Oh yeah.
And whether it's you guys writing the songs or someone like myself listening to the songs and connecting with that, and it might be two different scenarios of what you wrote the song about and what I relate to, but that's the great thing about music is it doesn't matter what genre, what style of music. If you're real, people can feel that.
Exactly.
And people know when it's processed. I know the difference between real cheese and processed cheese. And it's the same with music. And when you put your heart and soul and bring elements of your life into that, it makes it so much better.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of what I do when I write my lyrics. Is I'm very, I guess you call it poetic. I'm very vivid in my vocabulary in there. There's a lot of big words. I don't speak a lot of big words, but but it's just
He's
got
got
the
the dictionary there with you.
But I just put a lot of it out there. I like to make sure I take every bit of it from home. Like you were saying, all the past experience, life, just in general, man. If somebody else can connect to that, it makes it even better. That's what I aim for when I write stuff like that. Or when we write, we make sure everything we have is very in depth. That's why the EP was such a takeoff for us. Like we get so much fulfillment out of it because it was every bit of it. We're just like, we're gonna put it all out there. Every bit of us, all of us, heart and soul, and there it was. And we just, it's went well so far. It's just, that's like Lila's a. It's gave us trouble too, man. It's gave us a lot of trouble. It seems like we had mixed down master. It's just,
Yeah.
but it's a great track.
But I mean, when you put yourself out there for the world to see like that, and people look at it and like, these guys are not phoning this in. This is not plastic. This isn't fake. These guys are. This is real.
This is real.
And one that always gets me is Seven Dust. The
Exactly.
song Angel's song was wrote about his brother that passed away, and I've seen Seven Dust 20 times, and LeJean cries every single time. Every single time. Because when you bring that emotion out of people, people will connect to it if it's real.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Tommy does the same thing from Bad Boys.
Yeah, with Remember When.
Remember When.
He gets really emotional about that. That's a hell of a story. Have your own brother kill you, And
Twin
Yeah,
brother.
his twin brother. And it was it's a crazy story. They were just strung out, and his brother was just high and broke into his apartment, and he came in, and he said he just started beating him with a pipe, and flatlined on the way to the hospital, and his brother's doing 20 years for attempted murder.
Yep.
And that's what Remember When off their debut album was about that experience. And I've had a chance to talk to him about just life in general, and that dude's been through a lot.
He's been through hell.
Yeah, he's been through absolute hell. And for a guy like that to come out on the other side and be the nicest human being you could possibly encounter in this business, and still hold his head up and have that confidence in himself and his abilities to do whatever. Like, that dude, I don't care. You can bash Bad Wolves for covering Zombie or whatever. Call them the new Five Finger Death Punch. You can call them whatever you want. I have the utmost respect for those dudes because they have done nothing but bust their ass for 20 years in several different bands. God Forbid, Divine Heresy, Snot. The list goes on. Devil Driver. In this moment. Everybody thinks that they were an overnight success.
No,
you
they're
go
a
back and
super
listen.
group.
Yeah, and these guys don't say that.
I
They do.
no.
They do not like
I
that.
know they don't like it. Doc gets on to me every time I say it, but I'll bring him donuts. He'll be okay.
But all right, let's get into your guys' tracks since we've been talking about it. So go ahead and introduce this one.
This is the second track
Second track.
off the EP called Lila. basically you'll get everything you need from the lyrics.
Yeah.
It's pretty heavy.
It's one of our heavier ones.
Yeah, definitely.
We
All
like
right.
heavy.
Absolutely. This is With or Without You. The song's called Lila. You're listening to The Nightstand. We'll be right back. Take you 20 years to get to that point, but when it happens, it really does happen like that.
Like going in, that's thinking like
I really didn't, in this genre of music, but I mean, we do it differently.
Nathan was a big you probably know him. Nathan Smith. They call him Leg.
Legs, yeah.
Nathan did the metal show up here when I was a program director. Graduated and started the metal show up with Aaron. Aaron had it for a year. Doing Radio Grimdark. And Aaron turned it over to me. I created the metal show. We went from 2 hours. Nathan did 2 hours. Aaron, I gave him 3. And then I took over Midway Metal Fest. I bumped me up to 7. Wednesday night from 5 until midnight, 6 minutes after midnight. We did 7 hours.
2005, the Anderson Metal Festival. That was my very first band. When I went out,
Yeah.
they put that on.
Then you do the Nathan's father. Well, Nathan was the guitarist and the father was.
I love how
Oh, fake ending, nice. Oh, come back in. It's so fucking guttural. That's what I love about it.
I just like it, man. It's something that it can be like really pretty at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I like about doing it. Some of it was, yeah.
And Tommy does nothing but play vocals.
I've heard it, and I can practice as well.
And he's got a stack of notebooks like this, full of vocals that he never recorded. He just lives right in the area.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's got a full recording studio in his home.
Yeah, we started writing an album already. In that 30 of that, so it's less than 30.
Okay.
Welcome back to the nightstand. That was With or Without You.
That was freaking awesome.
Yeah. I'm digging it, man. I'm digging it. I'm digging it.
Thank you.
That's the kind of music you sit on the back porch at 10 o'clock at night, listen to, and
Partake in things.
yeah, partake in slightly illegal things.
Depending on where your location is.
Yeah.
Where's that for you?
It's in Georgia, so I did.
Oh, yeah, it's all good then.
My house is in Alabama, but my back porch is in Georgia.
I used to live on the Alabama-Georgia line over in Foreign, way out in the country.
Oh no, I stuck a Georgia flag up and declared it as property of Georgia.
There you go.
But yeah, man, with
Wonder
this
if I
EP,
could do that for real.
possibly.
That would be an idea.
Annex.
Weird, yeah.
I had an idea that was somewhat similar to that, but that would be kind of
Well, like Pretoria.
Yeah, say, Peter did it.
cool. But yeah, I mean, you guys. I didn't even ask you this. I'm a terrible host. Have you guys released this yet?
No, we
No
have
problem.
not.
That's the first time.
This is
So
with the record label.
another exclusive.
Yeah,
Brought
I
to you
promise
by-
that was definitely exclusive right there. Nobody's heard it.
Absolutely, dude. I love it, man. Awesome.
Exclusive music brought to you by the Night's Den and Egyptian Nights Media.
Yeah,
But yeah, and it is crazy, you know, this how we ended up meeting. You know, just walking into the store one day.
I
you
had
know?
that hunch. I was just like,
Hey, what kind of music
I
you
was like,
listen
hey man,
to?
I even told us this is a really random, weird question. What kind of music you like, bud? I like all music. Be specific. Like, what do you like? And just so happened, man.
You couldn't tell?
I mean,
Well, I
Get
mean,
off the vibe.
yeah.
The vibe.
I had my uniform on, so
Yeah.
I wasn't wearing all the chains and the metal hats and
This
shirts
is
and
my
everything.
uniform.
he didn't have his vest or his trip
Yeah.
pants or nothing, but
Hey, I just ordered me a new vest.
But yeah, well, one thing about my show is it's always been this way, and
Always
and
will be.
if I have any control over it, it always will be. I don't like to box people in. I don't want to do one specific subgenre of it. I want to encompass everything.
Mhm.
If it's considered rock or metal, I'll allow it. I don't care how melodic you are, how hardcore you are. I don't care what subgenre you claim to be. It's all rock and roll to me, and I believe everybody deserves the opportunity to have the spotlight put on them.
I ain't farting on the snare drum.
Yeah, hell with that.
We definitely
I
appreciate
love that movie so much.
I did too.
Airheads, oh man. I'm gonna go home and watch that now.
See, me too. Now I want to come because I was doing an interview with Kickin' Valentino over the weekend, and we said something about that because it's like, man, it's so mellow out here. I was like, yeah, we're out here listening to the mellow sounds of the wind because it's not raining. But yeah, I mean, talk about the process of recording the EP and some of the, I guess, struggles you could say that you had you had to overcome.
Well,
Here we go.
There wasn't no struggles.
It was a cakewalk. We walked in and pissed out excellence.
It
you know?
was
They
a
Frank
constant
Sinatra
struggle.
It was hell the whole time, being honest. I mean, it was.
When we started this, we had no equipment. We had a laptop, which, I did a black metal band for a lot of years prior, when I first started out. We were playing shows back to back, touring. I mean, I had to drop out of high school just so I could go on tour. And they were in their 30s, I was like a little kid. I looked like a child compared to all those guys.
In space paint.
And complete black metal paint. It was terrible. That was a very long road. But once I started trying to do this myself, I did dubstep for a little while, DJ'd and stuff. And so that, I knew my way around the DAW enough to get us by.
Right.
But we had no gear. We had like a Fender guitar and an amp and like no DI box, no nothing to do this with.
A right-handed Fender guitar
And
that a left-handed guy had to play.
Yeah,
he's
and actually the solo for Creature, the one y'all first
Wow.
interviewed, is I did that on a right-hand guitar and I'm left-handed, so I played it upside down like Hendrix style.
Like he got really upset when it was time to like start recording that because I'd been recording, like we had been writing everything together, but I was having to record everything because all we had was like the right-handed guitar. And then finally he just got mad and was like, you know what, I can do this, and just flipped it upside down and started playing. I was like, wow. I just sat and watched him and was like, okay.
That's what separates musicians from hacks.
Well, luckily me and him are both multi-musicians, like drummers, we both play a piano.
If you remember Pearson Deception,
Yep.
I was their drummer.
But I mean,
We did a show together.
Mm-hmm.
with you guys, I mean, as you were talking about, you play several instruments, and you obviously admit you're kind of a core guy, and you admit you're kind of a doom guy. So when you guys came together and created this, and it's got a very unique sound because normally if you're a core guy, you're going to do core music. If you're a doom guy, you're going to do doom music, and you guys get together and put it together, and it's
Those are very metal elite.
yeah. But I mean, it turned out really great. It turned out really, really great.
I think they finally get I guess it's why it feels so natural. Everything feels so comfortable with the EP and just what we've worked on so far together. Because there's a couple times I'm sure where we were like, no, I don't like this, or hey man, slow that down, or hey, this is too much, this is too little.
We have the BPM fight constantly because I'm a doom guy. I don't want to break 100 if I don't gotta. You know what I mean?
I like that 120, 140 though.
And
You're
that's
older
the battle.
too.
Huh?
Well, I like A now. You can't break the jock on my age. It's not fair. Just because I'm young.
But we really had an eye. We've been knowing each other for most
13
of
years.
his life. Yeah,
13
most
years.
at least.
Since I was about 13, 14 when I first started drumming.
So we knew
We've
what
always
we
played
were
music
getting into
together.
when I called him and was like, I got to do something. I was like, let's start a project.
We just didn't know how well it would take, widespread it would go.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because you just said it. You said I've got to do something. I've got to do something. That's the creative force behind you.
Yeah.
And I've been pushing for something like this forever. I've been telling him, come on man, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. Like when he was first started doing mixing and DJing, I was trying to help do that. It's just like we always got a little separation between us. But we always have to we have to play music.
Yeah, I have to do something. I can't I see so many people that are so good, that are so much better than me, but they just sit at home and just squander those abilities. And I'm like, if I've been given even a lick of that, then I'm gonna go. I'm going out.
Exactly.
There's something else I could be doing.
Well, the one thing, and I trust me, I understand where you're coming from, because I'm an artist, not a musician. I'm not a musician anymore. I don't play anymore. I had to give up drumming because of the legs. I just haven't picked up a guitar in years. But I'm an artist. I draw, I paint, and everything. and photography. And if I don't do that, I start going stir crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
And
understand.
I have to do, you know, I have to go and do a photo shoot, or I have to sit down with my sketch pad and draw and get stuff knocked out. Or I'm just, I'm going nuts. I don't sleep. I mean, do you go through the same thing?
Oh,
I can tell you that there's been a lot of nights that, like, we did this day in and day out
Oh,
for
gosh. I
every,
mean-
every day, day in, day out, and he would have to be at
I
work
get-
first thing in the
I
morning.
get up at work at 6 from work at 5:30, 6 o'clock, and wake up, he'd be in my recliner with the laptop hanging halfway off, and his headphones halfway on it, blaring, just
Blaring, trying to work on our
mixing over
mixes and
over.
mastering, and
So I shut it all down, tuck him in real quick, let him.
Hey, that's what it takes. You know?
But it was, I
Sweet.
mean, it was a lot of dedication. It was, I mean, it's been great.
If it was easy, everybody would do
That's
it.
right.
Exactly,
Exactly.
and then, you know, when we went to start looking for people to, you know, to round out the lineup, you know, once we realized that once it was time to go out, I was like, the next step is live.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, when we, you know, started looking for people, that's what we looked for, you know, and we found it in, you
And
know.
Moments, it seemed like.
yeah,
I mean, honestly, and they're great too.
yeah.
They're top-notch musicians.
Now, you've added people into the band. Who's the additions to
We
the band?
did, we, you know, he did not want to have to play guitar at the same time, so I was like, well, let's add another guitarist. And we found this guy, Matthew O'Neill. He's from Gadsden. You know, we just happened to bump into him. I
we was
bought a
getting
guitar
equipment.
off of him, off of Let Go, and we talked for a little bit, and I was like, well, you know,
We're looking for band members.
yeah, I was like, you know, come meet up with us, and we'll see how it goes.
Just come
And
jam.
yeah,
jam.
that's all it was.
And
We
then-
sat up in his living room and just jammed a little, and I was like, man, he's really, really
Yeah,
good.
he was really good.
Picked up everything really fast.
Oh yeah.
Eric Noble from Pearson Deception was a guitarist and vocalist.
Yep.
He was. I've been playing with Eric my entire career. I've either been in a band that was on the road with the band that he was in, or he was in the same band. He was in Divine Black and Path with me. I played drums for his band Pearson Deception. Like, there's not a guy in this music scene that I really respect more, and
Yeah.
he's so good.
And his work ethic.
He
Yeah.
is.
Oh,
He's been in
man.
it. He knows it in and out. He does so well at play. Just he knows his way around it. Like he knows it in and out. Like it's.
So he was a
it's
no-brainer.
natural. Yeah.
We
of
called
course,
him and I
bass.
was like, hey, come play bass for us. And he was like, all right.
He'll
And
also
see,
do
that's
backup
one
vocals.
thing that's always intrigued me about certain people, how they can just pick up something so quickly. I was doing an interview with Anders from In Flames, and Chris Broderick from formerly of Megadeth was brought in 24 hours before their tour started, and he had to learn 14 songs in literally less than 24 hours,
And that's
And did it.
and
Yeah,
just
I'm
came out
sure.
and slayed it. I mean, didn't miss one note.
Probably
It's
did
like,
6
man,
hours.
like I dabble. I don't consider myself a guitar player by any means. People tell me I can play pretty well,
You are.
but I don't consider myself. I can play, you know, a
Yeah.
little bit, but that right there, just something like that, it doesn't register to me. Like how somebody can pick that up that quick, you
Especially
know?
in Flames, that's in depth.
Yeah.
that's
Very
some
in-depth.
pretty
Yeah.
quick music too.
Especially their new album.
Our hardest part was, you know, when it was time to find a drummer.
Oh
Now
gosh.
both me and him drum, so you know I was like, man, I feel like we're kind of wasting two drummers, but
I mean, I've
at the same
drumming.
time, you know, you play something for so long, and like I'm too old for all of that. I feel like I'm too old. I'm 31, and it's like I drum one or two tracks, especially with
Yeah.
Pearson Deception, where everything was up, you know, everything was really up tempo. I'd be dying by the end of it. So we actually just went down the Facebook rabbit hole and started looking for drummers, and we ended up running across this guy named Jesse Berryman out
Oh,
of
man.
Florence.
And he is a monster.
And I messaged him, and the next day he messages me back, and he like sends me a video of him playing, and I was like, whoa, man. I was like, yeah, I immediately run it to Colton and was like, watch. And, oh man, me and him, like, I thought I was a good drummer. I knew he was a great drummer. This kid sank us both, man. And I was like, he's just and really dedicated, you know,
Oh, man.
and a great guy, you know. We didn't know him until we had our first real rehearsal as a whole group.
Which went excellent.
Yeah,
Tell you,
like-
we would like our segments at home, and sure enough, like we go get together first practice, it all nails out. We all know the mixes. I mean, we're just everything worked out well. So we got a well formulated band like everything.
That's
It's a
awesome.
really concrete band. You know, some people we can trust, people we enjoy, people who know it in and out. They know their instrument. You know,
Welcome back to the Night's Den. That was Lords of Black.
I won't go through that.
The song's called World Gone Mad. Before that, we had Farewell to Fear, a song called Voices, and before that was Every Hour Kills with Numlock. We are back in studio. I know, Pharaoh. Hold on, let me do my job. We're back in studio. Michael Church, with or without you, is joining us. Okay, Pharaoh, go
I
ahead.
have a PSA.
Okay.
I have a public service announcement for the people.
Oh, God.
Because
I'm worried.
No, I'm giving them great advice. Never, ever, 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 ever get a tattoo 3 days before you go to a 3-day music festival in the middle of the summer.
Yeah, that
That was not fun last year.
I'm surprised it turned out as well as it did.
I had that one done 3 days before Rockville.
Do you want an infection? Because that's how you get an infection.
Yeah, right.
That's how you get an infection, boys and girls.
are you
But
bleeding?
Especially
But-
when you're in the 95-degree Jacksonville, Florida heat for 3 days, you know, running
With
around.
130%
swamp ass does
humidity.
not even begin to describe it. This whole arm was just caked down. And every time somebody would come over and I'd have my arm up like that, they were like, "Are you okay?" I said, "New tattoo." Oh, okay.
Get
Let's
sunburn
see.
on that new tattoo and see what happens.
But it never scarred, never scabbed, nothing. It just healed.
See, I want like 50 tattoos. I've got 2 of them. Every one of them scarred up and just faded and just horrible.
And next Monday, we're going to get ink therapy
Nice.
because we're going to finish out
I didn't know.
the right arm. We're going to finish out the entire left arm.
I'm not even showing mine. They look horrible.
I'm getting 3 tattoos in one day. And I had 2 tattoo artists over in Atlanta challenging me to a tap out session. Yeah, they don't want to go there.
This is an interesting thing from this past weekend. Bradley was introducing Kickin' Valentino. And it's I believe it was their second or third show with the new singer DK Revelle.
Right.
And the first time Bradley came out and told this story, the first time he ever met this dude, the guy had him tattoo his throat.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, man, you've got to trust somebody to let them tattoo your throat, especially somebody you've never met before.
I'm glad you said that too, because we were talking while the song was playing, and you were talking about getting a throat tattoo, and what did I say?
Told me to do it.
Yeah.
You wanna dive right into your music career? Go get a neck tattoo, because you won't have another job.
I think my mom would totally do it. She might literally murder me and cut it off and like bring it back to life.
Yeah,
Okay,
my
you're
mom
good now.
definitely would.
Yeah. But I mean, it'd still be cool to have that, you know, old school silver mic right there.
Oh,
As soon as
yeah.
I look up, they're like, "Whoa!"
Well, that's what we're using for you guys, is that old
I
school.
feel like grabbing it, you know, when the hands on
Michael, tell them about it. What is it?
That is a Shure Super 55.
It's a great microphone.
Yeah, it is.
Lord,
It just
sure.
looks so cool. But you want a new one.
I've already got the new one.
You do?
Yeah, it's a solid black.
Yeah.
Nice.
I use
With the
Shure
red
microphone
inlay?
for recording.
Hmm?
Has it got the red inlay? or is it
No, the red inlay was a limited edition from 2010. Those are a little harder to come by.
You'll have to be on the search for one.
Yeah.
Because I know you love those mics.
Yeah, I do.
And they sound so good.
I got them for the way they look, and then stuck with them because of how, performance-wise, how they do. They're so directional.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hear how hot it is right now.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, they're very dynamic. They're very good mics.
Very directional.
Sure, you can't go wrong with it.
No.
That's what I use on recording. Sure, 58A.
Nice.
It's a good one.
Me personally, I like Sennheiser. It's just me. But everybody likes their own things. But both of them are, that's the 2 best mics you're going to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Is a Shure. Now I do have some Shure mics. I got a Shure SM57 that I have literally thrown this mic down a gravel road multiple times, and it still works perfect. And I did not know this until 4 years later when it finally died on me. And I was at a trade show, and I was talking to the Shure rep, and he said, "You had a SM57 die on you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Send it in, we'll replace it." I said, "Excuse me?" Huh? And he said, "Yeah, it's a lifetime warranty on it. If it ever dies, abuse, it don't matter. We'll replace it." Okay, so I sent it in to him, got me another one.
Nice. Well, we're in the studio with or without you. We're gonna get back into some music and gonna change it up just a little bit.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. So
You make me nervous when you change it.
I'm kind of going over to Europe for this one.
Okay.
So,
Well, you know, hey,
hey, you know,
you're talking to the king of European metal.
well, you
I
should
love that stuff.
you should enjoy this one. Here's Iced Earth. This is
Yes.
a quick. That was Apocalyptica featuring Corey Taylor from Slipknot and Stone Sour. The song's called I'm Not Jesus.
But I am a god.
What, dude, that song had one of the best lines, and when I was dealing with, depression and other issues, really got me through, basically having to come to terms with myself and my past and everything. And it said, the innocence you spoiled found a way to live. And that one line just resonated so much with me for some reason. And Apocalyptica, man, I've been on those guys for a while, and back when they were doing Metallica covers and everything, and those guys still to this day put out great music.
Yes, they do.
I didn't even know they were cello players
I remember seeing
until
the
I
DVD.
saw the videos. I did not know that was cello. I was like, man, there's no way that's a cello. That's a
Oh,
guitar all the way.
unreal.
Yeah. And it's
Awesome.
and it's crazy how you can really take an instrument like that you would never really associate with rock and metal and create that, But we've got a little over an hour left.
Well, you got about 10 minutes left, and then we're going to throw it over to Mr. Michael Church and let him throw his playlist on.
Absolutely.
Don't unplug.
I need to, because you've got the other songs.
What other song?
Their songs.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna play 2 more by them, and then I'm gonna hand it over to Michael and let him do
Well,
his
I'm
thing.
glad I didn't close that out.
Yeah, that would've been bad.
What we're going to do, gentlemen?
Creature? Yeah.
Preacher.
Well, I had Creature after playing. My bad. But it's better. You've got both songs. So
Closure.
Yeah, Creature and Closure.
Closure, full circle, I think we want to end with anyways. It's a great instrumental.
Okay.
Now let me ask you this: was that planned to have the instrumentals, or did you guys just like, no, well, I don't feel like writing lyrics to this?
No,
It's good enough.
The first one we really didn't have a choice because
yeah.
we didn't have the gear to really do vocals
Or
at the
content,
time,
really.
or any direction. And then once that one came out and it actually started to get played, then it kind of evolved. And then once we got to the end of it, I was like, it's only right that we do the last one the same way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because we wanted it to kind of be canon with the rest of
Right.
everything.
Well, that's cool, man, because end up having.
Love
I've always liked the version.